Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I've got a commander for you that is the very definition of an S-tier commander. That is right, the top of the top, the cream of the crop. Let's jump into it with Anzrag, the Quake-Mole. Oh my goodness, this is a commander that the second that I saw it, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is now a thing that will haunt your nightmares. A mole god is going to be haunting your nightmares. An 8/4 mole god that costs 4 mana in Gruul, because when it becomes blocked, untap each creature you control. After this combat phase, there's an initial combat phase. So hey, if we get it blocked, we get extra combat. What's the big deal? Well, here's the thing. We can force blocks again and again and again. Pay 3 red, red, green, green. Must be blocked each combat this turn if able. This turn, every single combat, because again, we're going to be getting multiple combats. So basically a permanent lure effect. As long as we can protect this commander, we can essentially get infinite combats, which is very easy. And actually, technically, we need to protect another creature as well. So we're helping out our opponent to do that. That being said, if we're not doing that, it's like a board wipe. So it's either like, hey, board wipe all your opponent's creatures, or you just win the game. There's also, ironically, some really easy ways that you can actually stalemate the game, too. Like, if you goad your own creature, force it into combat, and then also just, like, make everything, you know, fog until end of turn. It's like, oh, okay, cool, and no one wins. And no one wins, great. No, but there are ways that we can actually win with this, of course. Crazy ways that we can win with this. It's very much an S-tier commander. I mean, like, the combo's printed on the card. Very simple additions to this deck, even budget additions, incredibly cheap budget additions can make this a crazy good commander. This commander itself is not budget friendly, $12.85. That being said, I took all those extra savings elsewhere. Every single card in this deck outside of this commander is 50 cents or less. The total cost of the deck, according to Moxfield, is $29.90. So yeah, the rest of the deck is just like $17. Keep in mind, this doesn't include the cost of shipping or basic lands, but you might already have those. That being said, very budget friendly. If you are interested in this crazy, powerful deck, make sure you check out that deck list link in the description below. Now, with all that said, let's jump into it. Now, first up with tactic number 1, tougher stuff. We're going to talk about some ways to, well, make our commander, or maybe one of our opponent's creatures, tougher, because, yeah, here's the thing. Again, if our opponent already has an indestructible creature in play, which, yeah, I mean, could happen. They could have, you know, an indestructible creature as their commander, or just built around some or whatever. Cool, they already did the work for us. All we do is just cast this, target creature gains indestructible until end of turn, and all of a sudden, you put that on our commander, and then, yeah, you just swing at your commander, that creature, and then, yeah, they block again and again and again and again. Infinite combats, plenty of ways to win from there. Or again, with these kinds of spells, if our opponents aren't, you know, lucky enough to have an indestructible creature, we'll gift them with one. We'll say, that creature right there that can block right now, that's indestructible. Also, when you use another spell like, you know, Mortal Resolve to give target creature +1/+1 indestructible, use that on my commander. Both are indestructible now. I'm just going to keep swinging at you. You have to keep blocking with that. Both creatures will basically keep bouncing off each other, and I get infinite combats, which I can win in a other variety of ways we'll talk about here in a little bit. Robe Challenge can help us out in a couple of ways, though. All creatures able to block target creature this turn do so. Also, this creature gains indestructible out of turn if its power is 4 or greater. This can actually just be a board wipe, again, at the very least, being like, oh, okay, cool. My commander is indestructible, and all our creatures have to block it. I attack. All your creatures get taken out. Yay! Oh, I get to untap all my creatures attack again. I attack you now. Take out all of your creatures. Yay! Oh, do that for you, too. Yay! Again, very simple, very effective cards with this deck that just are like, oh yeah, by the way, this is a one-sided board wipe that protects your commander too. Moving on, speed to protect your commander. Anara, Volvid Familiar, protect your commander permanently on your turn. As long as your turn commanders you control indestructible, that is huge again, because that is half the equation in some ways, where it's like, okay, my commander's indestructible. Do any of my opponents have an indestructible card? If so, swing at them. If not, gift them with indestructibility. You're welcome to lose. Moving on, Soul New Phyrexia, though, repeatable indestructibility with this one. Pay 5 permanents you control, get indestructible out of turn. You can also pay 5 to exile from your graveyard, do the same thing. Again, keep track of your own side and say, you know what, my side's fine. I'm good with this, all right? I can just do it. I can activate this. I probably have enough mana. Again, I am in green to activate my commander too, and again, just be a board wipe on a body. Speaking of which, Spear Breaker Behemoth. This one is kind of like a combo in and of itself with our commander, with a catch. 5/5. It's indestructible. Pay 1. Target creature power 5 or greater is indestructible this turn. Of course, our commander does have more than 5 power, so hey, commander, you're indestructible. Also, hey, do any of you opponents out there, any of you 3 opponents, have 1 creature that is untapped, able to block, and has 5 or more power? Cool. You do? I'll pay 1 mana, all of a sudden, combo right there. Again, infinite combats. And again, since this is indestructible itself, if our opponents don't have any other indestructible creatures, it's just like, okay, swing, 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 swing. You lose. You all lose, because I'm just going to keep swinging with this over and over again to get through eventually on you once all your creatures are gone. So yeah, this is a great way to essentially say, you know what, opponents, you're just done. You're just done. But they're especially done with this card, which is Blinding Fog, the golden pig of this deck, in my opinion. The number 1 card out of 99. A very simple instant for 2 and a green. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to creatures this turn. Creatures go in hexproof until end of turn. So first up, this is a protection spell for our team, which can be huge to protect our commander. And then also, hey, a way to essentially say, you know what? I'm going to swing at you. And you're going to block because I activated my commander to force that. And then it's just going to happen again and again and again because they're bouncing off each other repeatedly, and no damage is going to be assigned to either of them because, again, damage dealt to creatures does not happen this turn. Oh, by the way, I also happen to have a creature over here that's unblockable, and it's getting through. And we'll get through to that here in a little bit on how we're doing that. But yeah, literally any other creature in play that we have, if we can get it through consistently, our opponents are gone because our commander is just going to keep bouncing off our opponent's creatures again, 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 with infinite combats, infinite ways to win. And of course, outside of combat, we've got ways to finish our opponents off too. It's a crazy good card for just 3 mana instant speed. You are the golden pig of the deck, Blinding Fog. But of course, you're not the only fog that we're utilizing. Let's move on to tactic number 3, no visibility, because with this commander, it's kind of like the worst fogs are actually the best fogs in a weird way. Serene Sunset, a very bad fog. Instant for X and a green, prevent all combat damage, X to our creatures who deal this turn. This is really bad for the most part. Again, like when this was invented, it's like, okay, I will pay X mana based on the number of creatures you have, and your creatures deal no combat damage and mine do. With this, it's like, no, I do it to my commander and then to that one creature you have, and all of a sudden, I'm just going to keep swinging at you, taking you out, or not taking you out, but swing at you, and neither of our creatures are going to take each other out, and then all of a sudden, I swing through the rest of my creatures or whatnot at my other opponents. And again, if I have one unblockable creature, all of a sudden, all my opponents are gone because I get infinite combats. Again, the name of the game is infinite combats. And again, if you need to adjust this X value to whatever amount of creatures one opponent has, like probably the least amount of creatures opponent has, do that. Keep swinging at them again, again, again. Terrifying Presence, even better though, instant for 1 and a green. Prevent all combat damage to be dealt by creatures other than target creature this turn. So you're picking one creature. Now, typically you'd think like, okay, my commander. No, we don't want to do that. We don't want our commander dealing damage. We want to keep the creatures that are blocking it alive. So again, if we've got one creature on the board that we can make unblockable, or just a way to get them through, do that, and all of a sudden that creature, even if it's a 1/1, can just get through infinitely, and we win from there. So again, bad fogs are good fogs with this commander. Next up, though, let's go on to tactic number 4, low visibility, because again, like I mentioned, even just like a simple fog like fog might not be the perfect solution for us, but it can still work for us. Prevent all combat damage to be dealt this turn. This essentially, again, with our commander and that force block is guaranteed, attack as many times as you want. And we have certain things that can happen when we're attacking, and certain untap effects that can help us, and certain crazy things that can happen off the wall that we'll get to here in a little bit. So yeah, again, even a simple 1-mana fog like fog can help us with that. Spog Frog. The Fog of Frog. A 1/1 that we sacrifice to do the exact same thing. Again, not the perfect fog for our commander, but one that does work in the right situation for us. Undergrowth, a very strange one. Instant for a single green mana. No creatures deal combat damage this turn, but if we pay 2 and a red in addition to its casting cost, also it doesn't affect red creatures. So again, if we are the only ones that have red creatures, keep that in mind, and this can just become a one-sided board wipe for our commander when we want it to, because our commander is a red creature. It can still deal combat damage then. Winds of Kalsisma. Prevent all combat damage to be dealt this turn. If a creature with power 4 or greater, if you have one, prevent all combat damage dealt by your opponent's creatures this turn instead. Yeah, our commander has 4 or greater power. So again, this is basically like a one-sided board wipe allowance for us. But if we do have, like, you know, that indestructible spell, we can also just go infinite with that too, so keep that in mind. We also have Hunter's Ambush. Again, basically the exact same thing, but at 3 mana instant speed. Prevent all combat damage to be dealt by non-green creatures this turn. So again, kind of like Undergrowth. This is at 3 mana, but this is for green creatures instead. So again, could be a, you know, one-sided board wipe essentially on a fog for us if our opponent's creatures aren't green. Thwart the enemy. All creatures our opponents control are dealing no combat damage, essentially, and all of our creatures are dealing all the combat damage. So again, one-sided if we need it. You look upon Tarrasque can be helpful in multiple ways. For all combat damage, we dealt to you and creatures you control this turn. So again, one-sided in that way. Or give to our creature +5/+5, indestructible till end of turn. All creature opponents control, block the creature's turn to do so. So basically, again, a way to give that indestructibility. So it's a flexible card that can help us out in a lot of situations. Next up, though, let's go to attack number 5, Little Helpers, because we've got these little things that can help us out in a big way once we're set up properly. Black Market Tycoon, a very strange card, 2/2, Cat Rogue. Give your upkeep, 2 damage to us for each treasure we control, so maybe don't hold on to all the treasures, but it can tap to make a treasure token. Why this is important is, well, hey, again, with our commander, it doesn't say, like, untap all attacking creatures. No, it's just untap all creatures you control. So basically, again, swing with your commander. Again, it gets blocked. Yay! Untap everything. Do it again, again. Infinite amount of time, essentially. Okay, rules lawyers out there. 3 trillion, whatever it is. Make 3 trillion treasures with this. Go to your second main phase, and congratulations, you have infinite mana. Plenty of ways to win from there. If you really need to go about in that way, just don't keep all those treasures, or actually find a way to take out the Black Market Tycoon, which we have plenty of ways to do so, to ensure that you don't lose the game on your next upkeep and take, again, 6 trillion damage. Moving on, Key of the City. Very simple, very effective. Tap, discard a card. 1 creature's unblockable. When it's untapped, pay 2, draw a card. Kind of like a delayed looting effect, which is nice, or rummaging effect, I should say. That being said, yeah, just very simply, getting 1 creature unblockability on our team is game over once we're set up properly with that fog scenario. Essentially, again, infinite attacks with our commander, blocking and bouncing off an opponent's creature. And then we just have one tiny little 1/1 over here, and we're like, okay, you're unblockable. And then like, okay, got it. Going through, taking out that player, taking out that player, taking out that player. Just because, again, we can swing an infinite number of times. Wedding Invitation, very similar. ETB draw cards. This replaces itself with this huge. Tap, sacrifice this. Target creature is unblockable. If it's a vampire, also get lifelink. We don't care about that. What we care about, again, is it's unblockable. Replace itself. That is huge. Zertodrud. This is a really weird, just terrible, not terrible card, but one that isn't that great in a lot of decks out there, but is incredible for this deck. Tap for a green. When it becomes tapped, 1 damage each opponent. So essentially, again, hey, a little mana dork that isn't all that efficient, again, 2 for 1. When it comes to green, you've got more efficient ones like Llanowar Elves. That being said, you're like, okay, cool. Tap for mana. I don't have anything to spend that mana on, but, oh, my commander's attack. Okay, untap. Do it again, do it again, do it again. Just a pinging effect for us. So it's a mana dork plus a pinging effect that just wins us the game again when we have those infinite combats. Next up, Glittermonger. Basically the exact same thing as our Black Market Tycoon, but without the massive downside of just losing the game. Tap, create treasure token. Again, we can do this an infinite number of times. Even if we have to go to our next turn, congratulations, you got infinite mana on that turn. And the turn after that, and the turn after that. Then we've got Kamal's Will. Until end of turn, any of our target lands you control become 1/1 elemental creatures, vigilance indestructible. Also, you get to choose creature you control and basically take that out based on the creature's power that you have. That being said, hey, here's what's going to happen is, again, our commander is going to say, hey, untap all creatures. Oh, your lands are now creatures. Again, that means infinite mana for you, at least during combat, essentially. So keep that in mind. Also, just a lot of creatures to get through in combat. Again, since they are indestructible, they are vigilant, they can just keep swinging again, again, and again. Your opponent's creatures are going to get worn down and taken out, and you're going to take your opponents out with this. Rude Awakening. Very similar. Untap all lands you control, or until eternal lands you control become 2/2 creatures, so keep that in mind. You can also entwine this to do both. So it can be like a ramp effect, essentially, in a way, a ritual effect, or also just a, hey, my lands are creatures, and all of a sudden you're all getting taken out. Speaking of which, Kamal Fist of Crows. This is a very weird way to win, but it's a way to win. Pay a single green mana. Target land becomes a 1/1 until end of turn. Sell your land. You can also overrun, which is something that you can keep in mind too. Because with your commander, again, if it has trample and it's getting through on a creature that is staying alive, it's just like, okay, trample over damage, trample over damage, trample over damage. If I have infinite combats, my opponents are getting taken out thanks to that. That being said, hey, I can also just take them out by paying a single green mana. Saying, okay, one of my lands is a creature. Cool. All right, I have infinite green mana. Cool, because I just kept swinging again and again and again. With my infinite green mana, I'm sure I could pump my team as much as I want. Or also, if I really want to be mean, first of all, I'm actually just going to use this to make all of your lands into creatures. And now you have to block with all your lands, because I'm just going to keep swinging at you all with my commander that is forcing blocks on all your lands. Your lands are gone. and now I'll put you out of misery and just take you all out with just an infinite amount of damage, essentially. Not infinite, okay. 3 trillion, whatever it is. Savage Ventmaw, another weird one that can really work with this commander. 4/4 Flying Dragon attacks, add red, 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 green, 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 6-man total to your mana pool. Until end turn, it doesn't empty from your mana pool except phase end. This can obviously get you to the point where it's very easy to activate your commander's ability, but also just, hey, infinite mana until the end of the turn, essentially, for you thanks to this. But now to on to tactic number 6, getting there, because of course, first up, there's Wayfarer's Bauble, pay 2 tap, sacrifice, get a basic land into play, tapped. We also, of course, have Rampant Growth, go get a basic as well, the OG ramp card for 2 mana. Edge Rob, basically the exact same thing if we've got 4 or fewer lands. Also could cycle it away by sacrificing a land if we need to. Farseek, finally budget friendly again, go get that mountain into play, tapped. Then we've got Wild Growth, another great turn 1 play, put out one of our lands, it taps for an extra green, Fertile Ground, extra mana of any color at 2 mana for this enchant land. Then we've got Cultivate, get 2 basics, 1 goes in our hand, 1 goes into play, tapped. Harrow, sacrifice 1 land, put 2 into play, untapped. 2 basics, I should say. They got Search for Mara, another great turn 1 play, suspend 2 for a single green mana, get a basic into play, untapped. Finally, Migration Path, get 2 basics into play, tap like an Explosive Vegetation essentially, or cycle it away if you don't need that. But now to on to tactic number 7, break stuff, because outside of breaking our opponent's hopes and dreams, well, we can break their things as well. Cost a Caterpillar, pay 1 and a green, sacrifice, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Again, a simple creature like this, just a simple little 1/1 like this can be game over for our opponents again if our commander can just take out all of our opponent's creatures, or we can make this unblockable. All of a sudden, hey, this is getting through on our opponents, and we are taking them out one at a time. Next up, Broken Bond. Destroy an artifact or enchantment, get a land for a hand onto the battlefield, so a nice little ramp spell for us too. Cankerloom, again, take your opponents out with a 3/2 if you really need to, or pay 1, sacrifice this, destroy an artifact, enchantment, or proliferate if you really need to do that. Outland Liberator, a 2/2 that we can sacrifice for 1 mana, destroy an artifact or enchantment. Also flip it over. Hey, exact same thing, but a 3/3, and also whenever it attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls, so essentially at a certain point this could just be infinite, destroy your opponent's artifacts and enchantments, just to add, you know, a little bit of salt to that wound of, hey, the game's ending, and also you're losing all your stuff. Moving on, you find some prisoner, destroy an artifact, or also impulse draw 3 off an opponent's library, so that's lovely. Reclamation Sage, ETB, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Again, just having these creatures that can help us destroy things, that's great for the utility, but also, again, being able to like, oh, okay, cool, key to the city, you're unblockable, and win the game for me, thank you. Decimate, destroy an artifact, creature, enchantment, and land, lots of things gone. Fade from history, speaking of which, everyone who controls an artifact or enchantment, cool, you get a 2/2 bear, which actually can be a win condition for us again, but also, let's just destroy all those artifacts and enchantments, because we don't need those, just creatures, right? Then there's Acidic Slime, ETB, destroy an artifact, enchantment, or land, also has Death Touch, which can become very relevant. Speaking of relevant, Bane of Balagad, what's worse than your opponents losing the game because of infinite combats? Losing the game because of infinite combats and having nothing in play. Because whenever this attacks, the player exiles 2 permanents they control. Next up, let's move on to tactic number 8, dig down. To dig down to the exact pieces that we need to win this game. Cathartic Union, discard 2 cards, draw 3 for 2 mana. Community of Lava, put a lot into that X. All of a sudden, you know what? Let's impulse draw off the top of our library at instant speed with a lot of that mana. Then we've got Demand Answers. Basically, discard 1 or sacrifice an artifact, draw 2 cards for 2 mana, instant speed. Throw a possibility, exact same thing, but without that artifact condition as well. Tormenting Voice, exact same thing as that one, but at sorcery speed, still all very good. Harmonize, 4 mana, draw 3. What's not to love about that? Ignite the Future, 4 mana, impulse draw 3, but also if you flash it back out of your graveyard, get to cast those cards off the top of your library for free. Visions of Phyrexia, at the beginning of your upkeep, exile top of your library, play it this turn. But if you didn't play a card from exile, you get a Power Stone token, which again can help us with our commander's activation, so keep that in mind. Escape to the Wilds, 5 mana, impulse draw 5, get an extra land this turn. Turn the Wild Speaker. Gross. Draw cards equal as power among non-human creatures you control, or pump your non-humans. Again, our commander is not a human, it is a mole god. Draw 8 for 5 at instant speed. What's not to love about that? Atali Primal Storm, yet another sneaky win condition for us. 6/6 whenever it attacks. Everyone exiles the top card of the library. You get to cast them for free. Even if for some reason this somehow kept getting blocked again and again and again and again, if you gave it indestructible or whatever, you had the fog going on. Congratulations. All of a sudden, you're casting everyone's top of the libraries for free, and when it gets to their turn, their library is gone, and they lose. So yeah, if you just cast a simple fog, essentially, right? Just keep attacking with your commander. Just keep attacking with this. Congratulations, you win. I mean, you probably won already for casting all the things, but like, you can just literally go to their turns, they can't draw a card, and they lose. But now let's move on to tactic number 9, dig it up, because we've got some ways to get some things back, because yeah, you know what? if things get dealt with, if things get stopped, we need to try it again. So you know what? Wildest Dreams, XX and a green, get X cards back out of your graveyard right in your hand. Regrowth, very simple, very effective, 2 mana, get 1 card back out of your graveyard. Dryad Survival, the exact same thing, but at 3 mana, and we can also flash it back 5 mana to do that again. Skullwinder, again, a very simple creature that, again, if you make it unblockable, that could be your win condition. ETB, you and another player get 1 card out of their graveyard. And then, yeah, Death Touch as well. That's lovely. Timeless Witness, just you are getting something in your graveyard again for 4 mana, or you can Eternalize it again for 7 out of your graveyard to get that key piece back. But now let's quickly move on to tactic number 10, Great Lands, where I talk about Great Lands, because, yeah, even a land can be a win condition for this strategy. Again, with our commander either decimating all of our opponent's armies and infinitely attacking, or, yeah, just making this unblockable, then getting through on our opponents when we keep attacking at that same one. Hey, we can actually just disguise this as a 2-2 with Ward 2. Congratulations. Swing through and just take your opponents out with that. We also have Gyreach Sanitarium. Digging down deeper in our deck can be huge. Pay 2 tap. Everyone draws a card, discards a card, loot, essentially. We got Get to Encampment, which can turn into a 2-1 Red Warrior with First Strike. So again, it can be a win condition for us. Kestig Wolf Run. We can give our commander or something else just trample to get it through, essentially. Trample and plus X+0, which can be quite a bit. Mishra's Factory, again, can become a 2-2, so it can become a swinging win condition for us. Raging Ravine, exact same thing. And keep in mind with these lands, too, when you turn them into a creature, they can also just infinitely tap for mana as well, thanks to our commander. On top of that, whenever this attacks, you get a counter on its silly land. So yeah, this can also just be a way to become pretty much infinitely large. Not infinitely, your opponent's probably going to take it out before that. Unless, again, if you fog infinitely large Raging Ravine, quite scary. Restless Ridgeline, attacks another target creature. Attacking creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Untap that creature. So again, some shenanigans can happen there. Rogue's Passage, get a creature through, which again can just be a win condition in of itself once you get things going. And then we got Treetop Village, comes a 3/3 ape until end of turn. Zoetic Cavern, it's got Morph, so again, comes a 2/2 if we want it to. Tangled Florahedron, it can either be a land or just a simple 1/1, which again can be a Mandork or just a win condition for us that can just unblockably, that's not a word, unblocked creature for us to be able to get through infinitely to take out our opponents. But now as this episode is coming to a close, it's time for me to hear from you. So in the comments below, let me know what your thoughts are on this stack for this S tier commander. Again, even on a budget, you can do some crazy things with this. The worst fogs are the best cards, giving your opponent's creatures indestructible. You're welcome. The game is over. I'm doing crazy things with this stack. So yeah, if you are interested in this deck, make sure you check out that deck list link in the description below. Comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.